welcome to our second episode of the Cosmic Intelligence Briefing, and we are here against all odds.
Yeah.
We are making things happen. If you guys watched last month's episode, then you know what we're dealing with, and if you didn't, then you are probably surprised is the word I'm trying to get out of, about the energy that's happening right now. And yeah, I hopefully everybody is safe from 7 planets in Aries.
Yeah.
How are you, Tom?
Well, I'll say to the audience right now, the moment we started, my Starlink just started acting up. Like the moment we started, no problem most of the day today. So if anything happens to me, it must be destined, I guess. So,
yeah. We're just going with it today.
We're just going to go with it. So if I start getting choppy, I might be ascending. I don't know.
So. Sometimes I pray for it.
Yeah, right. Oh boy. Yeah. Crazy times.
Crazy times. We're in it's 7 planets, right? In Aries.
Yes.
And then we have the new moon in Aries. New beginnings, fire.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new moon yesterday was really the closing the door on the whole Piscean era that we've been in for 23 years. I mean, there are so many other cycles that we can layer on top of what we're talking about. This year is an astrologer's dream. I mean, it is the craziest astrology any astrologer has seen. We're all excited about it. We get a little jumpy. It's very exciting, but at the same time, you really don't know how it's going to affect your own life until you step into these days. And holy cow, just as much as it is for my clients, I stepped in it too. I've been going through it as well. So I think it's funny because as an astrologer, it's hard to even look at your own stuff. Right. You're so subjective, when you look at your own stuff. Oh, I hope I see this. I hope I don't see that. And so, it's impossible for me to look at my own astrology and think that I can forecast what's going to happen to myself. So,
what's your sign?
Which one? The sun? I'm
sun.
Pisces. Yeah, Pisces sun.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Pisces sun. So a lot of what's happened over the last few months, all those planets that just kind of went through Pisces and are now all jumbled up in Aries went right over my sun. But more earlier in the year. But it was really when things started hitting Aries. Holy cow. Yeah. Everything I was thinking I was manifesting into this year, well, that Saturn Neptune completely showed the illusions of all of that and the reality of it. And it just came crashing down. But I went with it. And
that's all you can do.
That's all you can do. And my birthday was in March 3rd, which was the eclipse. And very interesting day for myself. I did have to crawl my way through March. Absolutely. I don't know how it was for you. Well, I kind of did.
Honestly, I barely remember.
It's been so busy.
Yes. I don't even know, how are we in 2026? How are we in almost May already? It's insane.
Right? Well, and the crazy thing is, in the next week, you could pretty much press warp drive. Because the moment Uranus goes into Gemini, everything we're looking at now accelerates.
Wow.
Now, what we're feeling up until now is this initiatory Aries energy. I mean, you have 7 celestial objects in Aries. That's a lot of initiating, fiery, active energy. And it's all at this, at the onset of that Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which was in Aries, at the 0 point. And so as Saturn slowly crawls through Aries for 2.5 years, and Neptune for another, 14 years or so, we are just in that first month that we have every year, right after the spring equinox. We have our first new moon after the spring equinox. And this was yesterday. Again, I don't know about anybody else, but mine was a lot of intense new beginnings. And the key here, let me share my screen. Or do you do that? Yeah, let's move it to the chart. There we go.
There we go.
So if I go back to yesterday, I mean, we could dial it down to the hour. And it just keeps moving the chart here, and I hate it when that happens. But you could see Aries down here, and this new moon-sun conjunction was only 1 degree away from Chiron, which is the wounded inner child. So this new moon and new beginnings for all of us has a lot to do with new beginnings from a place of our old wounds and the wisdom from those scars. And I didn't really know what that meant until yesterday for myself. And so as we wrote into today, I'm just going to pull back here till...
The old wounds part was probably the worst. I was like, I thought I did this already. I'm so tired.
Right? And so today kind of locked in this energy with this Mars-Saturn conjunction, right? So let's take an example in the big world, in the collective world. So yesterday we had all this news about the Middle East, and the Strait of Hormuz was opening, and oh my gosh, and there was all these huge, there was a lot of movement towards people feeling not as tense about the situation in the Persian Gulf. And all the markets, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, everything went to new highs, and everybody was feeling really good. Bitcoin and crypto took a huge pump. And I was sitting there going, well, we have Mars Saturn tomorrow. I mean, something's going to come back to reality tomorrow. And sure enough, and I haven't even had enough time to keep up with the news today, but
me neither.
From what I heard was that they closed the strait again. So I don't know if that's true or not. But again, yeah, Mars Saturn, that's probably today is the most amount of pressure. Today's the top of the pressure that we've been feeling building. And today's kind of the crest of that wave.
I can feel that.
Yeah. And so this weekend should feel that kind of energy until we get to when the sun finally cruises out of Aries. And I'm on the day here. So this is April 20th, which is Monday. 4/20 is the day that the sun goes into Taurus. It's the typical sun shifting signs every 30 days. That's when things are finally going to start to feel like we're grounding into the new reality slowly. You know, it's not going to necessarily...
triangle.
Which one?
Is this triangle? Yeah, is that your Uranus? What is... I always can't...
I wouldn't look at this triangle. This is just a trine with the ascendant in this moment on this day. And I didn't pick this moment on the day for any specific reason.
Okay.
No, it's this sun right here, just on the 20th, it finally leaves Taurus, or it leaves Aries and then goes into Taurus. And so this is the beginning of us being able to separate all this energy that's just been packed into this initiatory active fireness of Mars. And so we will feel going into next week a kind of grounding of the energy and moving into being able... It's almost like the hit happened, and now we're going to move into a time of how do we manage all of this activity now? It's like it's a moving into energy management because it's coming at us fast.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah,
I can feel that.
So
I heard somebody or somewhere said something along the lines of like, basically, if you hadn't like done your shadow work this week, this is where it really comes out to like shine or play. But this is where you can kind of see like how much work you've done on yourself as where you're launching off to is kind of... It's
a good way to put it. But it's almost this new moon energy. If you have been, hopefully you've been starting something new beginnings of some kind, and this 7-day period that we're kind of in right now from the new moon into the 25th of April, whatever you're solidifying in your life right now is really going to take the Saturn Neptune energy, and it could literally survive the next 30 years. Whatever you're putting into reality right now, whatever you're birthing. Let's see here. The 20th. Yeah, so once we get to the 20th here, it's basically you're watching a bunch of planets make its way of conjunctions inside Aries as it starts to spread out. Okay, so geez, if we go to, I mean, even on the 20th, you've got a Mars Mercury conjunction, which is actually it's the last of 5 that have happened since last September, where every time Mercury and Mars come together, there's shadiness going on. You know, Mercury is business dealings, communication. Mars can get a little, Mars can sever, Mars can aggravate, Mars can initiate, can focus, can decide on things. And depending on whether you're manifesting the energy lower or higher, it could turn out to be some deceptive conversations, some shady, swindling type conversations and communication. So watch out for that as we go into the beginning of next week.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Yeah, fun. How fun for all of us.
Well, and the fact that it's also pretty much conjunct Saturn at the same time, there's a certain amount of strategic discipline involved too.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like the fire hits the wall a little bit. Saturn brings back the brakes, and Mars really wants to press on the gas in its own sign. So there is this kind of I want to go, and Saturn in reality says nope, not yet, or hold on a second. And depending on in your own natal chart how strong Saturn or Mars is, and whether they're, say, afflicted in your chart, could mean whether your brakes work or or the gas allows you to go forward too fast and you hit consequences too quickly. And that is definitely happening right now. With the way that the Mercury communication is tied up with Mars, be really careful how you speak over the next few weeks, because there will be immediate consequences to that speech.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. We have a question.
Oh, wow.
Sun in Gemini and Moon is in Virgo. Not sure what rising sign is. Would be great to know how energy is affecting.
Okay. So Sun in Gemini. And this is where it gets interesting with, well, where are people's planets? So where is the Sun early in Gemini? Is, because Uranus, that's the next thing. On April 25th, Uranus goes into Gemini. So for, what is it? Suyam, I don't even know how to say this name. Suyam Henius. Having Uranus go into the house where your Sun is, there is going to be, if you haven't even felt it yet, you're going to have a huge shift in who you think you are, your identity, your ego, how you bring authority into your life. I mean, knowing what house it is would be great. But you might have had, depending on where your Sun is in Gemini, you might have had a taste of what I'm talking about last July, because that's when Uranus kind of dipped its toes into Gemini for a few months, and then it pulled its way back out in a retrograde. But as of this 25th, it's in permanently, semi-permanently for the next 8 years. And the last time it was there was in 1941. It takes 84 years to go around the sun. So we're entering a time for the U.S. birth chart. It's really important. Because if you go back 84 years from World War II, you're at the Civil War. You go back another 84 years, you're at the Revolutionary War and at the beginning of this country. So we are walking into a collective shift from even a national perspective. But okay, so back to Moon and Virgo. Well, that would be square, that situation. I would say for the last 2.5 years has been probably pretty rough. There's probably been some tension with maybe some emotional depression or melancholy, having that Saturn opposition to your natal moon and a ton of planets going through there, including the North Node or Rahu, which you call it in Vedic astrology. So there probably was all sorts of stuff that you're probably feeling you're done with, but moving into new things. Gosh, how do we know how to get your rising sign? I wonder if we can have the people who are asking questions, if they can find a secret way to give us their birth information.
You can email us.
Okay.
Yeah, academyoflogicandlight@gmail.com, and I'm literally standing by. So if you want to send more information, I can help.
Yeah, if we can get the birth date, time, and location, and that'll at least get us as close as we can to find out what areas of life this is affecting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Shuavnus.
The name
an
is
Irish word for tranquility.
Nice.
That's cool.
Shuavnus. Very cool. Yeah. Especially for this person. I mean, they want to. I'm going to bring up my other chart program so I can. Where did I put it? So while we're waiting for some birth information, I can say that the moment that this Uranus goes in, think about, well, first of all, Gemini is an air sign ruled by Mercury, and it is a totally different energy than being in grounded Earth Taurus for the last 8 years, since 2018. And so with this shift, think about what happened for 8 years in the 40s when it came to technology, communication, which are natural third house energies, because Gemini is a natural third house. So, I mean, that was when radar started to come out. That was a new technology back then. We had code breaking. I mean, there were all sorts of, and none of this is coming to me right now. The Germans had this Enigma machine, which they were using to secretly send messages through the war. And then we had the Navajo tribe with their ability to, use codes that couldn't be broken by any other culture on the planet. And then somehow our country broke the Enigma box. So there was a lot of interesting technology going on during the Second World War. We had the birth of modern computing, basically. That's when IBM started taking off. Mass information warfare. I mean, this was the time where, basically Hitler was the first person to use TV and radio to really spread whatever his message was. And it was the first time that you had mass amounts of people hearing the same message live. And it was pretty powerful back then. It obviously got people's attention and made them do things that they probably didn't realize until afterwards that they were scammed. So let's fast forward to today. What are we dealing with? We're dealing with fake news. We're dealing with deep fakes with AI, making videos, making pictures, and getting groups, interest parties, getting different people to react in different ways to manipulate the message and the narrative. So we also
feel like, that's a pretty big one. Honestly, the scamming part, and personally and propagandally, it's a big one.
Yeah. Let's think about this. We just sent a crew to the moon and back a week ago.
I have questions.
That hasn't happened since the 70s. We could sit here and wonder whether something's fake or not, but the energy of what we're doing and what we're trying to at least convey, it's happening. So I don't know what's going to accelerate and how quickly once we get past the 25th, but it's really going to start to, what I would think and what I'm hoping is it's going to start really pushing a lot of these alternative economies and alternative, financial engines like decentralized finance, cryptocurrency.
Mhm.
And if anybody's been following all that news for several months, there's been a lot of political movement of bills through Congress regarding the ability to regulate and have some kind of oversight over these new markets that people who've been playing in them for a while will know that, if you don't know what you're doing, you could lose money really quick. And there's a lot of fraud.
So much fraud.
So much fraud. So much fraud. So hopefully that pushes through. Yeah, where do we want to go from here? Did we get the birth information?
I did. Do you want me to forward it to you? Do you want me to plug it into astro.com?
Just forward it.
It's two of them.
Okay. I'll go into
it. Sending now.
Wow. As I'm sitting here talking about great technology, I'm sitting here on Starlink, and this is the first time I've had intermittent issues.
That's wild.
Yeah. Okay. New chart.
There's two birth chart informations.
My apologies for this taking forever. Wow. Okay. So the first one is Leanne, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Where was Leanne born? She could put that in the chat.
Yeah. Ireland, Galway.
Ireland.
GALW.
Galway in Ireland. Okay. I don't know if this is even right. Let's see here. We're having such an ad hoc tech issue that it's throwing me off. Like, I'm just trying to bring up a chart that usually takes 2 seconds to come up, and I'm sitting here for a minute waiting for it.
Dude, I've had to sign all of my documents like multiple times because I didn't go through. Like, it's just like,
yeah, Mercury
control.
Mercury hanging out with the ruler of the house it's in, the ruler of the sign it's in. This is probably has a lot to do with it. Just a lot of erratic energy. Okay, so she said she had her moon November 25th, 1998 at 5:32 p.m. and I have Galway, and the moon is not in Virgo. The sun is in Sagittarius and the moon is in Aquarius. So was this the person who said that they had their moon in Virgo and their sun in Gemini?
I think that was the partner. Because the partner is June 15th. So what is that?
Oh, that would make more of a Gemini.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, well, let's look at Leanne's then first. So let me see if I can switch. I'm going to present something different here. Okay. So if we put the transit over this, can you see this?
Wait, let me add you back. There. Well.
Yep, I see it. Okay.
You see it? I don't see it. So there it is.
Okay. So what we have here is a Gemini rising chart. So this Uranus is about to jump into Leanne's rising sign. Yeah, she's about to go through a whole persona change, a whole identity shift. And, it may not just start on the 25th, but the reality of what that might turn into is going to become very apparent and will accelerate very quickly into summer for sure, and over the next 8 years. Wow. So let's see here. The fact that it was traveling through her 12th house for the last 8 years, probably a lot of really abrupt shifts in just being by herself, being in solitude, being in isolation, letting a lot of things go, probably a lot of sudden things that showed up in her life over the last 8 years that she had to kind of contend with and let go, hopefully. And moving into the first house is going to be like a whole new her coming in. And all of this energy from this whole new moon that we just had, and all this initiatory energy has a lot to do for her with what do I want? What do I get out of life? What do I want out of life? What do I aspire to? And look at this. I mean, she's been in her Saturn return officially since February 14th.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah. So 2.5 years of, this will be the first Saturn return. So this is oh shit, I have to start adulting now.
That's the worst.
I have to be an adult. I have to start doing things very seriously. And look at all these planets, just showing her even the social circles, the communities, the tribes that she's in. Probably been going through a lot. So do we get any confirmation, or did she leave the chat?
No, I think she's still here. The last I got is a little heart. So we might be in the processing phase.
Yeah.
It resonates. My partner's laughing.
Right on. Yeah. And there's probably been a lot of shifts for the last year and about going into the end of July. There's been probably some huge karmic destined shifts with regards to where she might be orienting her career and what she does out in the public sphere. So I would say all of this has a lot to do with maybe her joining into new communities, new groups.
Hey, we're one.
What?
We're a community.
Yep, we are. All right, let's is there any questions that she has before we look at Kevin?
She said, so interesting. Thank you. Let's see if she says anything else.
I can sit here. It's fine. I just looked at my email and sitting here talking about Starlink, and I literally just got the payment reminder.
No.
Can't make this stuff up, man.
No.
Okay. All right, let's look at Kevin. Should probably do this on camera for a second.
Oh, you got you. There you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kevin, we've got your privacy in mind. $1910. It's a good year.
1910.
Well, this is like an international couple.
I know. I love that.
Okay, we can
Come
bring
back.
it back up on the screen now. Okay. Come on, transits. Let's do this.
Wow. Look at all that.
Well, very, very well spread out chart.
Yeah.
Very well spread out. It's a lot of retrograde planets down here in the first part of his life. Pluto, Uranus, Mars. So early childhood, there was a lot of internalizing of events. The Saturn retrograde here in the second house, that's definitely rough. That's a rough, early life when it came to resources, like money, friends, family kind of thing. Now, that's Sagittarius. So this is a Scorpio rising with Pluto in the rising sign. Is the sixth house. So the sixth house in Vedic astrology is called an Upachaya house. And so it's a house of increase, a house of improvement. And that's where your north node is natally. And if you can see this, we've got the sun riding right on top of his north node in the sixth house in Aries. So one thing about Kevin's really trying to connect to his passions, to what inspires him, what lights his fire. And, with all these planets riding in here into Aries, he's just now probably starting to feel this potential pull on what he's kind of meant to be doing. So let me figure out here how old. He's 86. So he's going to turn, what is that? 40 this year? So you're about 2 years away from a Uranus opposition. So here's Uranus in the sky, and here's Uranus when you were born. This is a very huge turning point in life. So you're on the precipice of what I would consider to be some disruption and it's not good or bad. It's just disruption. Like something sudden's going to come in, and the second house and the eighth house axis. Second house is your own resources, what you have to work with. And eighth house is usually other people's resources. And so as this clicks in, there's going to be this push and pull between, I need to do this myself. I need to be self-sufficient. But then at the same time, there's this need to be able to be vulnerable and ask for help when you need it. And with all of these planets, especially Saturn going through your sixth house, there's a lot of work that needs to be done right now. And it's probably grueling and grinding, but you got to persevere through it. And today, I would assume, there might be this feeling of, I've had enough, or how do I get through this? Or I need to push through some obstacles or some delays. So there might be some, just in these few days, probably a lot of work going on, a lot of effort. But, depending on what might be happening, this could be sixth house is a house of enemies. It's a house of conflict. So a lot of this energy could be about, getting through some conflict, pushing through, mediating out in terms of, and when I say enemies, it just means that these are people that aren't out for your best interest. So, the sun going over this Rahu here. There's definitely something about his ability to stand up and be in his own power, but there might be some inner wounds that are kind of being triggered here with the Chiron cruising up on his north node here in the next few weeks. See what else? Oops. See what else we see here. Yeah, does Kevin have any questions about what I said?
So far, he said resonating, super cool, and very true. So
awesome.
Awesome. I sent you another birth chart too.
Yeah, he's really good at connecting through air, through the exchange of ideas. But yet a lot of times, he came from a past life of not really being much involved with the world and worldly affairs. And this life, it's almost like he's going to kind of have to go out and be of service, but not really expect anything in return. So he's probably going to be spending the next 2.5 years figuring out more about what that's about. Yeah.
So not sure what to ask.
Not really sure what to ask, but really. Well,
it's kind of
honestly,
lot, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, if you don't know already what's going on in your life with all this crazy energy, what I would just tell anybody listening to this is probably one of the biggest, it is one of the most significant, biggest years of your life. It is for the planet. I mean, this is not once in a generation. This is once in a humanity.
Mm-hmm.
What we're going through this year, and if it hasn't really clicked yet in your own life what that represents, I mean, Uranus may trigger it, because Uranus is always about sudden disruptions. And moving into Gemini, it's gonna accelerate things.
Have fun. He says you echoing the messages he's been receiving and deciphering. It's been clicking.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just such a good time to just launch forward new projects. I mean, new everything. I've been asking people for the last year and a half, who is it that you want to be? And that doesn't mean pick someone that you want to emulate. It means what characteristics would you like to have? Because you should be authentic in these things. And who is it? What are the characteristics and what are the things that you want in your life? A lot of people don't ask themselves that, and it's kind of crazy to me.
Well, and if you don't know yet, right, what we can at least tell you right now is that whatever decisions you are making right now, they're going to carry a disproportionate weight for your future than you're probably you've ever been used to. These decisions now are going to have immediate consequences, and they're going to ripple out for years, because we're at the beginning. And whatever we're solidifying in our life right now, whether it's just in our minds, and when we start going and putting it into action, which is what the energy is now, what it's really been in our minds for the first part of this year. And it's just now it's okay, go, start, begin. That's the energy. That's what it's calling for right now. So any decisions you make are going to carry and ripple for years. And so it's like downstream. You don't want to shape stuff downstream, right? You can nudge the river that's flowing out of your life at the source easier, where you want it to go, than waiting another year or two. And you've got to try to, it's going to take a dam downstream to nudge the river where you want it to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a threshold period. So all these individual decisions are like amplifiers at this stage.
Yeah. 100%.
And as long as Mars is hanging around Saturn right now, the key is to move with precision and be methodical and pragmatic about what you do, and try not to go too fast. Okay. It's not speed right now. I mean, it feels like you need to go fast, but it's really about precision. Mars is very surgical. Okay. If you use it right, and it's in Aries, it's in its own sign, be precise with your words. Mercury's there with your words even. And Neptune, we keep forgetting Neptune's right here. Neptune being in Aries, the veil is thinner. So your ability to pull things out of your dreams, the ability to use intuition. Gosh, as I say that, what's the omen? What's the omen?
My cat just fell sideways out of a box. He literally trapped himself in the moment.
I second that. Move with precision, not force.
He's a Sagittarius Leo rising.
So yeah, the Neptune and Aries, it's like it can gild a bad plan, but with divine varnish. Like, it's kind of an interesting way to think about it, because Neptune is about, it can be foggy and it's hard to see through. And from a certain perspective, it can bring delusions. If your discernment's not on point, if your intuition's not on point. And so you need to run any decisions that you're making for the rest of April, at least because of the other planets that are kind of flavoring this. Run your decisions past someone else. Someone that's maybe more Saturnian, has more pragmatic, sober eyes that can look at something before you start committing money, contracts or any sort of covenants or agreements with people. That'd probably be a good thing. So that's the Aries. And really, as we get towards the end of this month, the only other big thing is this Uranus transition into Gemini. And I don't want to minimize that. I mean, that's a once in 8-year shift. And Uranus grounds in Taurus. And Uranus is going to accelerate in Gemini. So I guess the key here as we go into May is you don't want to force anything that's already moving, because the current is already so fast. And so the key here with the Neptune is don't paddle against like your own intuition. And of course, when the sun, what we've been talking about, and I guess we can click back over to the other chart. So let me present. This guy right here. You got it?
Just trying. Just thinking about it.
Hey, at least it's doing better now. So
yeah.
Yeah. So when this sun clicks over into Taurus, that's a grounding energy. Taurus is the natural second house. It's all about resources, collecting your resources. What have you got to work with? Okay. So all this new energy's come in, new beginnings have come in. Now it's, okay, what have I got to work with? What money do I have? Do I have the right vehicle? Do I have the right, people to go forward with something? So it's a very grounding, let's collect some resources. And the ruler, Venus, it's only in there for another couple of days at that point on Monday. So if I click this over a couple more days, Venus is out right there on April 24th. So you only get 4 days of the Venusian, let's figure out what resources I need to be comfortable. And then Venus moves into Gemini. And then slowly, as we get, the next day, boom, Uranus. We're into Gemini now. And it's hanging out there with Venus. So, there might be some soothing qualities as we go into the next weekend. But then after that, if I just sit here and move this, you can see the planets are starting to just spread out. Does that look, you see that as we go into May? Yeah. It's just, we can breathe more. All right. I've been telling my clients since last year, hey, don't make any plans to travel or do anything until we get past the end of March and into April. And May and most of June is a pretty good energy time to go, take a vacation, maybe do a little travel. I mean, flights, I don't know about flights. I mean, delays. I mean, we've seen what's been going on with airplanes all over the place. Okay.
I don't recommend it, and I'm a flight attendant.
Okay. So, if you stick to the ground, right? I mean, relax, get out there. Because once we get to July, that's where we get a new shift in energy that's pretty wild, and we could talk about that next session. All right, ugh, but yes. Just if you can see that this spreading out of energy is just going to be really nice. It's going to at least allow us to breathe a little bit. Thank God. Which is helpful. Yeah.
I can feel it. Like I can feel it's coming. I'm like, okay, we made it to today. That was a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, you can even say what we're feeling now is very different than how everything was feeling at the beginning of April. So by the time we get to the end of April, I mean, so much will have happened.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. And I would say with all that space, be careful not to chase everything. I mean, there's going to be opportunities opening up, all sorts of things going in every direction. And I just would say try to stay anchored and grounded in all the expansion that's going to be happening. I'm always going to go back to, with everything happening in the world right now, nervous system regulation is the critical top priority. Critical.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we're starting just to like throw in a side note, we're starting a May challenge for the root chakra. So I think it's a really fun time for everyone to come together, and we'll go over the root chakra together, and we're going to make a fun point system and
yeah,
come down, get grounded, come to center.
Yeah, that's the perfect time, right? Right when the sun's in Taurus. When is this?
We start May 1st.
Yeah, perfect.
Hey.
Yeah, the sun will be all by itself in Taurus.
Oh, that's perfect. It's the perfect time to get grounded. We're going to talk about like exercise and food and nervous systems and attachments and all the good fun things that come with the root chakra. But yeah, if anybody is down for that, we'll have that information coming up, posting within the next week, probably. Yeah.
And that's good because, if April's like about initiating, that we've been talking about all this Aries energy, Mars or May, as you can see, it's more about distributing, managing energy and grounding and having these kinds of experiences with, the root chakra and bringing that to our awareness. Perfect time to do it.
Hell yeah.
I love when I don't even check the astrology. What?
Just works out. I love when I don't even have to check the astrology and it just works out.
Totally.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Did you get the other chart that I sent you?
No. Wait, hold on. Oh, look at this. Clara. Okay. Let's do another one.
We're busy tonight.
Perfect. Great. Clara. I was going to say, okay, this person is definitely not from the United States. They do their birth information with the month or the day first.
It took me so long because that's how in South America, that's how we did it. And yeah, coming back to the US, I was like, okay, this is hard.
Now, she said Australia. Oh, there it is. Rockhampton. Okay. All right, so now I've got to switch back. Okay. See it? There it is. Okay. So what we've got here is a Scorpio rising. So if anybody's new to looking at charts, by the way, this inner wheel, the lighter gray, is the natal chart. And the first house is always going to be right here, this zone. And this is Scorpio. And she has Uranus, the north node, right on the ascendant, all in the first house. Which means that opposing was Taurus. So about 8 years ago, she was going through a Uranus return. And, honestly, you could say or a Uranus opposition, excuse me. So that's about to formally end for her. And this Uranus is going to click into her 8th house of transformation, which could be seen as some shadow work. She's got Mars in Gemini natally, and Mars and Mercury can sometimes, not like each other. So that might be interesting for her for the next 8 years. Probably a lot of deep inner work is coming. And just like the previous chart we did with the Scorpio rising, all of these planets have been running through her 6th house, just probably bringing in a lot of like just feeling like I got to do my duty, I got to do my responsibilities, I got to just work and improve this and that, and potentially overcome conflicts and enemies and that kind of energy. Jupiter retrograde in the natal chart. So, okay, well, here's another thing. She just went through her Chiron return. So that happens when you turn 50, which is really kind of the bringing full circle that which wounded you in childhood, that you've finally kind of come to embrace those scars, that kind of energy. And let's see.
Wow. Brutal.
Yeah, there's going to be a upcoming, and it might take a few months, but there's an upcoming Saturn to your natal Pluto opposition, which might have something to do with coming to terms with what loss has transformed you in your life. What is this hitting right now? I mean, this is really hitting her. No, not as much. Does she have any questions?
Questions. The last thing she said, it has already started.
What started?
I'm not sure which part.
Which
there
part
was a lot
started?
there. Something started.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see what else we can see. Yeah, I mean,
the transformation.
Anybody can. What'd she say?
The transformation.
The transformation. Yeah, that you could go back to last July and kind of get a feel for, what potentially dramatic or even scandalous or seedy kind of stuff might have been coming to the surface last summer, and that would have been in like the sneak preview of it. And she, let's see here. Yeah, Clara is really good at grounding herself, especially in relationships. But Clara is, and I can relate to this. I have the North Node in the rising sign. It's a tough axis, this right here, this North Node, and then the opposite of it, which is the South Node. They're always opposite in the chart. And when it's on the 1st house, 7th house axis, your whole life, this incarnation is about figuring out who you are without figuring out who you are through a relationship. The past life, Claire was really good at being in a relationship, relating to others, figuring out who she was through others. This life, she's got to figure it out on her own. And that usually becomes the prime directive when we hit about 42 years old, whether we know it or not. And we try to figure out the balance of that between 42 and 48. And she's past that. So, it's her trying to, and it's connecting to her own emotions. Scorpio is a water sign. And so she really does want to connect through emotions and her feelings, but it's hard for her. It's scary. It's scary for her to do so. And so she's probably gotten a lot better at that, especially probably over the last 8 years when this Uranus was cruising right over her K2. We could sit here and go back. Let's see here. That was 21. We could probably go back a couple of years and see. This is where I guess. Ooh, look at that. I timed it right. So April of 2024, there was this Jupiter Uranus conjunction right on her south node in the 7th house. So this probably had something to do with, if she wasn't in a personal, intimate relationship at the time, this could have been something professional, somebody she worked closely with, or it could just be who she relates to in general in her life, in close relationships, probably had a huge epiphany, because Jupiter can be expansive and bring a lot of faith and optimism to whatever Uranus was disrupting at the time. And so I would think that rippled through her life, probably even to this day. So I nailed that one. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right on, right
she said
there.
Anything good to look forward to.
Always.
Yes.
Always. It's just how you look at it. So,
perspective's a funny thing.
Yeah, I mean, without really diving into the chart and doing a full session about, where a lot of this comes from, what she's asking for, I would say the next 2.5 years, anybody who's a Scorpio rising, all these planets are going through your 6th house. And the 6th house is just, it's a lot of work. It's just effort. It's being responsible, right? And doing your duty. It's a grind. That's all I can say. It's a grind. And Saturn it's considered debilitated in Aries, right? Saturn, like I said, is the brakes. Aries, ruled by Mars, is like gas. Saturn does not like being uncontrolled and unhinged. It likes to be slow and methodical. So there could be some lessons here with detachment in terms of, don't be so worried about the results. Just be of service. This Jupiter in her natal chart, retrograde, there is a lot of faith in a lot of the work that she does in life anyways. It's just internalized for most of her life. And there's some inner wounds in regards to her work, I would assume, as well. But it's Jupiter's always the good luck and good fortune of the chart. And so for Clara, it's about just do the work and do it to the best of your ability without any judgment on how the result should be. Hope, have the faith, but if it turns out differently, be okay with that. Don't be so attached to a certain result. That's the best I could offer you for the next 2.5 years. And Neptune, especially in the 6th house of work. So if you looked at 6th house as work, it's more employment. It's not so much your 10th house public calling and career. It's more about, I got to just get this stuff done. It could be the day-to-day tasks. It could be just administrative, clerical work. It's not the bigger picture, your calling in life. So Neptune here is the fog around it. You don't know necessarily what you're going to get out of all this effort that you're putting out in whatever you're working on. So just, I would say the next, feel how this energy kind of, there's probably a lot of pressure right now that we've been talking about in this session in general for everyone. And that this pressure is going to start easing up as these planets start to spread out. So what you're going to be left with by the time we get to, let's see here. Let's just go ahead 2 weeks. And you can see, like, it's moving. You go ahead another 2 weeks. And, Mars is almost clear by the time we get into May. And so Clara is only going to be really dealing with, what's kind of been in the background probably since February, and just kind of managing that energy and just pushing through the delays and the obstacles, the things that Saturn puts in the way. Just handle it as it comes with no attachment to results. And that should help with the happiness.
She says everything is spot on. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. It's weird to do this without like hearing the immediate feedback,
Yeah.
It's like
I'm just
I'm
happy
talking
people
into the
are
ethers.
coming and talking to us.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so for the next week, we have 4 sweet days of Venus, and then we need to be careful with our words for the next 2.5, is what I'm remembering. Ish.
Be
Instant.
careful with your word. Well, as long as, let me go back to the regular chart here. As long as there are planets in Aries, you definitely have to worry about any statements you make, things that you say to people, actions that you take. Know that they have not only immediate results, but the results will carry for a long time. So be careful what you say, and be careful what you put into the world right now, because whatever you set up, like I said earlier, if you set it up wrong, or you set it up with too much ego, or you set it up with too much anxiety, you're going to find out later down the line that you have to make a course correction. And it's going to be a lot harder to do it now than it used to be. We didn't talk about this as much this time, but we did last time. We were in 23 years of outer planets in Pisces. And one translation of that was we all had a lot of practice. There was a lot of tolerance in the world. Okay. Everybody was getting trophies. That was not the way it was when I was a kid. Okay.
No,
that was not
either.
the way. Yeah. So there was a lot of room to figure things out. It was the dream time. It was Pisces is very full of possibilities and dreams. And again, that's why I keep on emphasizing here that era is done. And it's hard to really measure that, especially if you're only in your 20s and 30s, because that's all you know. That's all you grew up in, is that energy. And you really haven't been able to put your finger on that or quantify it until someone like me sits here and tells you it. And so be careful now. Like, practice time is over, kiddies. It is time to do it right now. You've had enough practice. It's time to do it right. So be careful about the decisions you make and the actions you take, because they will have lasting consequences now.
In the flight attendant world, we say stop, think, and locate before you do anything. And that brings you back.
Give me an example. How does that?
Oh, well, for flight attendants, it's every
flight?
time we open up the door. Arming and disarming the door, it's our first step every single time, no matter what. Every single action is stop, think, and locate before you do anything. So I've used that in my life for the last 18 years. It helps, but I haven't always taken my own advice. I will totally arise.
Well, I mean, and like for me, I just did a video, a 44-minute video on my YouTube channel a few days ago, and I really kind of embraced the Aries energy. I really kind of let it all out there. I let everybody know kind of what I was going through, and I kind of just laid it out there, all bare. And one of the things I said in it was, I'm starting to realize that a lot of the issues I've had in my life stem from me being in Boy Scouts back in my teens. And I rushed and achieved the rank of Eagle Scout before I reached the age of 15. And one of those things that I carried from that was be prepared, be prepared, be prepared. And when you have that in the back of your mind, I mean, yeah, for a certain amount of your life and a certain amount of things that you do in your life and in good scenarios, that works great. But if you don't know what you're preparing for, you're going to overanalyze everything and feel like you're never prepared. At least for me, at least that was me. So I went into this year thinking, do I have everything right? Is everything the way it's supposed to be? Because as an astrologer, I'm looking at all of this coming in for this year, and I'm thinking, okay, something's going to happen. Am I ready? Am I prepared? Mm-hmm. And here I am a little bit in hindsight now from what just happened in February and March. And hell no, I was definitely not prepared. And so, I sit here and look back on my life and go, what does it mean to be prepared?
Honestly, right? Though, I think about that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So lessons all around right now.
Yeah. Ugh, I'm so tired of lessons. I'm so tired of lessons. I'm like, I think I learned, but then they're like, no, one more. Let's really make sure you got it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Even right after you think you've got it, 3 days later,
Yeah.
the universe will throw you
Sideswipe.
another. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. You honestly, the only thing that's really serving me besides stop, think, and locate is relinquish control and eyes on the prize. Those are my
Wow. You've
focal
got it
points.
dialed in.
I did not come here to play around. I'm a Capricorn.
True. You are all about performance and results.
I am diligent and I make things happen, even if it's a little chaotic at the beginning.
Totally.
Can you tell people where they can find you to get like a full reading and maybe any other things?
Anything about me you can find on my website at www.metaphysicaladvisor.com. And that's where you can subscribe to my analog monthly newsletter, which is where I really dive in. And I've been actually using it to keep track of my notes for next month, because this is the April newsletter that went out to everybody and it got there on April 1st. And so the next one will get to your mailbox on May 1st. If you subscribe, you've got about another week before I've got to cut it off to get the actual May newsletter in your mailbox. So this is kind of where I put all of my hard analysis into what's going to happen for the next month. And like I said, this year, biggest years of our life, I'm using this. I'm using my own stuff because I get into it the month before, and then as the month's going through, I get to pick this up and read through it and go, yep. And it helps. It's like a field manual for the month. So you can subscribe to that on my website. You can book any kind of session you'd like on my website with me. I usually do things video, and I can share the screen like we do here, and I record the whole thing and the transcript if they'd like it. So yeah. And then I have a YouTube channel where I do videos, and then I do put some of those on TikTok as well. So
which is how I found you.
Yeah.
I gotta love when social media works. It's amazing.
Yes.
Well, I'm rushing to go get your next copy because I want that to be my first piece of mail at my new house.
Hey, there we go. Very cool.
Yes. Wow. Amazing. Well, if anybody has any questions, this will be the last opportunity to put those questions in because it takes a couple minutes sometimes. And I don't want to take up too much of Tom's time, but thank you for everyone who participated. It's so much more fun when people participate.
It is. It's way better.
Yeah.
Then we're just lecturing.
I know. And I was like, sometimes I'm just tired of hearing my own voice.
No, it's good when you can take what's actually happening and bring some practical examples into the sphere and be able to see how it is really kind of playing in on a microcosmic level in individual lives. Like I said, I thought I was prepared. I thought I had it all figured out coming into this year. Mm-hmm. So not true.
Yeah. She says, where do you see this energy taking us?
That is such a loaded question.
I was going to say, it really depends on many things.
As an astrologer, I'm also a metaphysical advisor. So I've been on a long spiritual path, and I do feel like there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. One of my biggest things I have with my clients and my YouTube channel is that I'm basically telling people that 90% of what is going on in the world and what's going on in reality has been hidden from us, has been suppressed. And that's a part of what's happening right now is realities are coming to the surface, illusions and institutions and things that have had or seem to have strong foundations don't. Mm-hmm. And we could dial in this an hour on this about how we're at the threshold of that as well. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I think is going to start rearing its head in July. There's a couple of big, and I brought this up the last session we had. The last one was that crazy configuration around July 19th that really brings in a kind of, higher dimensional vibrational energy that kind of maps with what's been going on with the geophysical changes, the solar activity. It's energy that's not just affecting us, it's affecting the planet too.
Mm-hmm.
And you could even say the solar system. We've had 3i Atlas moving around our solar system, and it did some interesting things when it went right behind the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all been scientifically tracked. And now it's doing really interesting things out by Jupiter right now. And so I do believe where all this is heading is that there is like a great bifurcation coming up, where the people who can sense, feel, and see and discern through all the illusions that have been on this planet for thousands of years. You may not have to put the whole puzzle together, but as things unfold and new things come to light, watch what comes up inside you that makes you want to resist some of this stuff.
Mm.
And as information starts to come out and you watch not only yourself but others around you react to it all, I think where it's leading is a time where everybody on this planet has a choice as to which direction they want to go. Mm. Do they want to go the direction of AI is going to save us all? Or are we going to go the direction of, actually, we've always known that the power has always been within and inside of us, that our innate human potential has been hidden from us, and that there will be moments this year where that will become very clear to the people who are ready for it, and the people that aren't won't even probably notice. They'll be stuck in their lives, and they'll be completely distracted. And
I feel like we can already start to see that, like right now.
Absolutely.
Like we're already starting to see people, like the realities are not the same. It's fascinating.
I had something crazy happen to me today where I looked back on it and I thought, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I probably would have engaged this situation in a more mundane, 3-dimensional, emotional way, reactive way. And instead, what really happened today was somebody had to literally tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, did you notice that? Did you notice what just happened?" And I did not at all. And it was almost a sign of, I'm not even in that frequency. I'm not even in that reality, that vibration. Somebody had to point it out to me. And it literally walked right past me.
That's crazy.
So, yeah. It is already happening.
Yeah. And it's weird too. Even in my meditations, like I meditate a lot with the grid, I guess is the easiest mundane way to say it. But like I can see so much activity, and the stargates keep coming up for me. The Stargate portals, I just keep having all these visions and dreams about them, and it's so bizarre. The inputs with the outputs, and volcanoes and all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think there's a lot of that, 90%. Like we don't even feel any of this. And that's the 90%. It's not just us on this planet.
Yeah.
It's not just us up in orbit.
Facts.
It's not just us in the solar system. And so I totally would agree that there's portals opening here, there, everywhere. This is the time. Everybody knows that this planet's about to jump in its frequency, and that this planet's about to give birth to that new frequency. Mm-hmm. And so I wouldn't blame anybody having all sorts of really interesting dreams, especially as we get past the 25th with Uranus. The dreams will start coming in different ways.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, cute. She said, thanks for all your wisdom and sharing. Very grateful for your time. And also, Leanne's companion here, Kevin, I recently received a literal blueprint for an update of who I am and how to self-update, deciphering it as we speak. You just confirmed it. Thank you.
Nice.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Very interesting. I love when things work out.
Yeah. The intuition, everybody should be really feeling that the veil's thin right now. Mm-hmm. It's just going to get thinner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're going to be launching some really interesting classes with Charlene soon about mediumship,
Perfect.
Speaking of thin veils, and also about how to harness your gifts, like claircognizance, clairvoyance. Those classes are coming this year. Hopefully,
That's cool. That was my
hopefully this
master's
summer.
thesis. My master's
Was it?
thesis for my metaphysical sciences degree, I wrote on mediumship, and I based it on Alan Kardec's work.
Okay.
He wrote the Book of Mediums, the Book of Spirits, back in the 1800s in France, where he literally, from a very Western scientific perspective, would interview spirits in these books and would get the information about the other world, and just kind of made a nice scientific framework about how to be a medium and interact with that world safely.
I love that.
You can go on to Netflix. There's a Netflix documentary on it. I think it's called Alan Kardec.
Okay. There's so many things. I feel like every time I leave here, I feel like I got more homework.
You have homework, yeah.
Oh, I see it. Okay, perfect. Alan Kardec. Dope. Okay, cool. Wow. Well, we've got a lot of exciting things coming up, and if this is your first time interacting or engaging with us, there's a lot more cool stuff coming. But specifically, astrology is our jam over here. We love astrology.
And we'll have a whole different energy in May when we do this again.
I cannot wait.
I mean, if you go back and I just looked at what we did in March, and it was totally different energy when we were in that session compared to this time.
Oh yeah, the shorts are about to come out for that session because I'm still so behind, but the shorts on that are still like so crazy relevant that it's like intense.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Yeah, it's intense. I've watched it probably 4 times at least.
Nice.
Just going through things, but yeah. Anyways, thank you so much, Tom, for showing up today and sharing your wisdom, and everyone who joined. I wish I could say this name properly again, but Leanne, Leanne and Kevin. And we will see you guys in May. And everyone stay safe, stay grounded, use your discernment, stop, think, and locate, eyes on the prize.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Stop, drop, and roll if you need to.
Yeah. Take cover. Be prepared.
Yeah, we will see you guys next time.